Now we're live everywhere, and I appreciate all you guys being here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And we're live on TikTok. We're live on Spreaker. We're just pretty much we're live. That and with any day you're 6 feet above ground, the 6 feet below. That's always a good day. That is always a good day. So everybody, I am for those of you who are just tuning in. If you don't know who I am, that's perfectly fine. I appreciate you stopping by and saying howdy to us, to our little community that we have here. I am Bishop James Long. So first of all, a lot of people want to know, who are you? What about, okay, go to my website. Go to the website, bishopjameslong.com. That's very, very simple. You're going to know everything. It's all there. I have the online store. I have everything about who I am and what I am and everything. So just go there, bishopjameslong.com. Now, before we get into the meat and potatoes of our show on today, I want to remind everybody you need to make sure you go to our sponsor's website. This is important. So moderators, if you could put this in the chat room, KG, RAD as in dog, B as in bicycle.com, KGRADB.com. Folks, please do yourself a favor. I want you to go to that website and I want you to subscribe. Now look here. I want you to put Bishop as your promo code, because if you do that, you're going to get 30% off your subscription. So it's going to save you money. And by the way, they sponsor all the presentations, all the shows. So we are very appreciative of them. Some people ask me, well, Bishop, do you get a kickback on that? No, actually, I don't. As a matter of fact, I told Mr. Producer, and he can verify this, I don't want a kickback. I don't want any type of payment. If people sign up using Bishop as a promo, I don't want, because they sponsor the show. And I feel like if they're going to sponsor the show, this is my way of saying thank you to them. So if we can get a bunch of people to get there and sign up, folks, look, I love the paranormal, and I'm not going to apologize to anybody about it. I just am not. If people don't like the paranormal, well, that's on them. But I'm not going to apologize to anybody because I love the paranormal, because I do. And there's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. So if you love the paranormal like I do, and you're always trying to find a decent show, or maybe you're bored or whatever, go to KGRADB.com. But subscribe. Don't forget, put Bishop as your promo code. You're going to save money. Also, I want to remind you, people always ask about the church's website. Well, it's very simple, very, very simple. It's usocc.org. That's it. That's it. usocc.org. That's the church's website. So if you want to go and you want to know about the church, well, thank you, Mr. Producer. He's putting that up right there on the screen. If you want to know who we are, if you want to know anything, just go to the church's website. It's all there. We have a frequently asked questions section there for you. Bam, you'll be set to go. So again, usocc.org is the name of the church, the website. Now, and finally, for those of you, if you want to go to night prayer, we have night prayer Monday through Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There are two ways to get to the night prayer. One, you can go, for those of you on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and KGRDB, there's the URL there. You can Spreaker.com /show/night prayer, or just simply go to bishopjameslong.com. That's it. And scroll all the way down to where you see night prayer, click it, and it'll take you right to Spreaker. We use Spreaker. It's strictly audio. And it's 100% free for anybody, everybody is invited. There you go. Simple, easy peasy, and that's how you do it. So, again, the church's website, usocc.org, and my website is bishopjameslong.com. Now, I want to say something that's very, very important. I am currently working with a family in Michigan. These folks need help, and they need help now. This is not something that it is very violent. The family they're not staying in their home. It happened. A 12-year-old girl. She had a little, her friends coming over, and they thought, it was going to be a fun time. And anyway, she got one of her friends brought over a Ouija board. And they were playing with the Ouija board because they didn't know. They wanted to just try to scare each other. And this happened several months ago. And so they did a little Ouija board session, and weird things started happening that night when they went to bed. And then it began progressively worse. Well, now it's unbelievably violent. And it is violent. And the parents are, the dad, he doesn't know anything about it. And the mom doesn't understand the paranormal demons and all this stuff. And they work hard. The mom she works at a part-time job, and the dad's working full-time at Walmart, but they try. They're doing the best they can, but they don't know what to do. And they are terrified. So right now they're staying at a friend's house, and that's not conducive because the friend they have a small house and they have 3 kids, but they will not go back in their home. They will not. So the 12-year-old girl, she was experiencing a lot of scratches in the middle of the night. And she kept hearing the voice calling her name. Well, the family actually put a recorder in her room, and I have the recording. There's something there, no doubt. There's something very violent in her room. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I've heard it. It is pretty aggressive. She has 2 siblings, and one is 9. I believe the other one is 8. And I think the little boy is 9, and he says that he hears growls, and that he will see this dark figure in the corner laughing, and it wakes him up. It did this like deep laugh that it does, not a really loud laugh. It's more like ha ha, kind of like that. And he's terrified. He is terrified, and so the family, and of course then the other girl. And then the younger girl who's 8, she is saying that she feels warm breath, like a really bad, really horrible smell, and it's just, and she hears it, and it's all night. So they're not staying in their home. They're not staying in their home. I had a team investigate, and they do have the evidence. It is very clear that this family is dealing with an incredibly violent, demonic situation. This is why I tell people, stop playing with Ouija boards. Just stop. And people think that they're cute and there's nothing wrong with them. There is something wrong. Stop playing with them. Just stop. I don't understand why people continue to do it. It doesn't make sense to me. Because now this family won't even go home. But what they don't understand is an invitation has been given. And now, no matter where they're going to go, that the demonic can attach. So I have got to get to Michigan. I have got to get there. If you want to help, I can't do it without your help. I just can't do it. I'm not even. I'll be very blunt. It won't happen. And I've told the family. I spoke to the mom today. I said I'll talk about the case, and if they want to come on the show, I said you can come on the show, and you can. But I can't get there. I just can't. So if you want to help, do it. The family would certainly be very, very appreciative. Again, the father works at Walmart, and he tries his best, but they struggle like everybody else does. So if you can help, simple. Go to bishopjameslong.com, scroll down, ministry expenses, but make sure you put, if there's like notes, family in Michigan. And that way I'll know that's where the funds go to. I don't know right now. I just don't know how I'm going to get there. I don't know if it's going to be flight. I would rather fly than drive because they're supposed to get some weather up there. So personally, I'd rather flying. I think is more safe. But I don't know. So I don't know. I know I don't. Folks, people saying I want to go with you, folks. I don't need bystanders in this one. I can't take people who want to, eat popcorn and watch entertainment. This is not entertainment hour. This is really serious stuff. And then people want to go with me and they want to experience it. And then I say, well, what the hell are you going to do if the demonic attached itself to you? And then you go home and now you have demonic infestation. You brought it home to your house. Now I have 2 issues going on. So I can't have bystanders. There's no such thing as a bystander. So, you can go to bishopjameslong.com, scroll down to where it says ministry expenses. Just please make sure you put Michigan family, and I'll know that's where it goes. Okay. So, and people say, well, why can't you just pay for it? Well, first of all, again, for a millionth time, I do not get paid as clergy. I'm with the United States Old Catholic Church. We do not receive a stipend. We do not receive a paycheck. The church does not pay for these things because we don't receive anything. This is a free. We do this ministry 100% free. And I've been doing it for 20 years. And I never charge families. Never, and I never will. So that's how we go to do it. And if you can help, please help. Otherwise, I'll just have to tell them, I'm sorry. We'll have to wait. There's nothing I can do. I can pray. Certainly, I can ask you guys to pray. But if you want to help, this is terrible. This is terrible. I asked the family that after, if it's resolved, if I could play some sound bites, and they said yes. So I'll be willing to do that. But this has got to be resolved first. This has got to be resolved first. So a minor rite of exorcism must be performed immediately. Yeah, it's pretty violent. But this is what I'm talking about. This all starts with the Ouija board. You know, people always tell me, well, James, you shouldn't charge. Okay, but I'm not Donald Trump. I'm not Elon Musk. You know, I can't hop in my private jet and fly to people. So then it's a double-edged sword. People then attack me. The trolls attack me because then I say, okay, folks, I need to get to these people's houses. And then trolls will attack me. And then, so it's damn if you do, damn if you don't. It truly is. But anyway, that is what, that's the situation. If you can help, please do so. BishopJamesLong.com. Scroll down to ministry expenses. And there you go. Or the Cash App. There's a Cash App too. So that's how I need to do this. I don't know right now. I've got to figure out all this, the cost, the hotel, the car rental. I've got to figure out all this. I don't know if I'll be here Monday. I just don't know. So Monday we have an open mic show. So we'll see. I'll do the Bible study, and then I don't know if I'll be here Monday. So we'll find out, and we'll go from there. Okay. Yep. Thank you, Christopher. I appreciate that. That is very, very true. Yeah. Well, thank you, Shannon. I appreciate that as well. Okay. So, closing the portal, and when you open that portal, look, this phone, people always say, what's a portal? This is a phone. Okay. Now, the purpose of this phone is to make calls, and it had a bunch of apps are on here too. But the problem is I can use this phone to also communicate with the spirit world, I can just put, these glasses, my reading glasses that I do here. Now I could put them on the table. The intent for the purpose of these reading glasses is to put them on so I can see, close up. But if you put this right here on the table, and I say, is there any spirit here? Can you please move this? And it moves. You've just opened a portal. That's all it is. A portal is a form of communication in which you open it. Think of it like a telephone line. You picked up the dial tone. Now you have a dial tone. Think of it like that. It's not magical. There's nothing magical about it or anything hocus pocus. Thank you, Thomas. I appreciate that. Thomas, you're always been very kind. Thank you. But it's nothing hocus pocus. That is what it is. And using a Ouija board is very dangerous. The whole point, the whole intent with the Ouija board is to communicate with the spirit world. You don't know who you're talking to, though. Well, how do you close it? You close it in the name. I always close it by St. Michael, praying to St. Michael and asking God to close all portals, all communication. I invoke the name of Christ, obviously. But see, here's the problem. People always want me to teach people how to close the portal. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to teach people how to do that. And the reason being is because they're asking me, how do you close it so they can open the damn thing and then contact the spirit world? And I'll close it because Bishop Long said this is how you close it. I'm not going to lead people down that rabbit hole. I'm not going to do it. So there are some things that I will not say because that's a slippery slope. Because the moment that I tell you, okay, this is how I close the portal, these are the prayers that I use, then people will take that information, they'll go play with the Ouija board, all hell will break loose, then they'll try to close it and it won't be closed, and then they'll blame me for it. Nope. So we're not going down that road. So I tell people don't open it in the first place, and you don't need to know how to close it. You see? Because if you don't open it, then you don't need to know how to close it. And that is what is. I'm very firm about this. So, Wayne, what if you sleep with a succubus? Well, if you sleep with a succubus, then your life is going to come to a complete and total disastrous turmoil. And see the thing. Well, thank you very much. And I do appreciate the gifts on TikTok, but please understand, TikTok takes 70%. Just keep that in mind. So there people offer gifts on TikTok, and I appreciate that. But just remember, 70% is automatically taken away by TikTok. So just keep that in mind. So Wayne was asking, what if you sleep with a succubus? There's actually people, folks. I'm telling you, I don't understand it. There are people who purposely invoke succubus or succubi in this case, and incubi for the sole purpose because they think they're going to sleep with them. They think they're going to have a relationship. Let me tell you something. The moment you think you're going to have a loving relationship between you and a succubus and a demonic entity, that's what a succubus is. If you think for one moment that you're going to have a loving relationship by invoking this succubi or incubi, you don't even realize the devil has already beaten you. You have no clue. And that's the God's honest truth. I have, let me tell you something. I have had cases of incubus and succubus. And matter of fact, I even had, remember, a daughter. She came on and she talked about her mom, a case that I worked. And I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. It was barbaric what she went through. This was a 68-year-old woman, and what she went through was hell. Oh, good question. Succubus and incubus, they're demonic entities that will attack you on a sexual nature. So here's it. What happens is, at first, is because I have to be careful because it's 7 p.m. There might be children watching, so I always have to be very careful about the words that I use. So it's not violent at first, and usually begins with a dream, and but it's not a violent reaction in the beginning. And so what happens is the person doesn't reject it, and even to the point of almost accepting it, and even to the point of looking forward to it. And that's the invitation that it needs. And so what I tell people is, and then it gets very, very aggressive, and it no longer then hides under the cloak of a beautiful woman or a beautiful man or whatever it is that you're dreaming about. Now you're seeing the true identity. And the true identity is barbaric. I'm telling you, the true identity is what nightmares are really made of. Look, let me tell you something. Yeah, sounds dope until it's you. And then you'll be calling Bishop Long because you'll find out it's not real dope. I'm going to tell you, look, people, let me just make this very clear to everybody here. And I've said this before, and I want to, and tonight we're going to talk about haunted objects. But I want to make this abundantly clear to every single person that's listening, now and later. Now, I'm telling you my background not to be egotistical. I'm telling you this because I'm setting up to explain it. I went to school, to college, accredited universities all my life. I went to Loyola University in Chicago. I went to Argosy University. I went to Sullivan University. I to St. Mary of the Lake. All these accredited institutions. Now, I have a doctorate in ministry. I have a master's of divinity, a master of education, a master of business. I have a bachelor of communication journalism and an associate of philosophy. I don't get paid one penny Not one penny from the church. I don't charge for my services. It's 100% free. So I don't charge. There's nothing. I make nothing. Matter of fact, I spend my own money oftentimes helping people. I teach online English. That's how I make my money. That's how I pay my bills. And whatever I have left over, I go to help people. Now, I tell you this, and I want you to understand and listen to me clearly. If I did not know, and I'm not think, if I did not know that possession exists, I would do something else with my time. That I will guarantee you. But I devote all my time, full time and more, to this ministry because I have seen the things that I have seen. I cannot deny. I have performed 30 exorcisms on people who were validly possessed. I'm not talking about people who, on the floor and they're like a fish out of water screaming and I'm talking about people who are legitimately possessed. Levitation, knowing languages that they have no training in. Marks appearing on their body after I use holy water and bless their body, eyes going solid black. See, some of you think that's cool. There's nothing cool about it. There's nothing cool about that. Because remember, that person has gone through hell to become possessed. That body has deteriorated dramatically. The family members have watched their loved ones deteriorate dramatically in front of them. The body is at a very fragile state. That person has been tormented. There's nothing cool about that. There's nothing, as my friend said, and there's nothing dope about that. It's barbaric. And when you see this and you experience it, I'm telling you, folks, I don't, a long time ago, I used to be so upset because I've been in the paranormal. My first paranormal investigation was 35 years ago. 35 years ago, I investigated Waverly Hills in Louisville, Kentucky. That was my first paranormal experience, as far as investigation. I've been in the paranormal community for a long time, ever since then. I teach demonology, I teach the dangers of investigating, and I teach possession. Now, I have blessed thousands of homes through the years. I've collected thousands of items from people's homes that they bought, and then all hell breaks loose in their house. And then they're terrified, and I go to their home. I take these objects away from their home. This is why I want to teach you this. This is why this is my life. I've devoted my entire adult life to this ministry because I'm very passionate about teaching you the dangers of the paranormal, the truth of demonic entities. There's a lot of crap on social media that, demons aren't all bad. You can have demons. They're good. They can be your buddy. That is bull. That is a bunch of crock. If anyone ever tells you that you can have your best buddy demon friend, you walk away from them. Just walk away from them. Because I will guarantee you with 100% certainty, 100%, that if you go out and you invoke a demonic entity because you want to be its friend and you think it's going to be your friend, I will guarantee you that you will be calling me one day. Guarantee it. And then you'll be wondering, Bishop Long, I need you to get it to my home. I can't. I got to raise funds. That's how I do it. What about Christ? Absolutely. Let me just make this clear. What about Jesus? Look, folks, I teach Bible study on Sundays and Wednesdays. Every Sunday and Wednesday, I'm here at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every Sunday and Wednesday. So for people saying, what about Jesus? What about Jesus? Well, what about you? Come show up here. Visit us. Stay with us. Join us on Sundays and Wednesdays. I'm here every Sunday and Wednesday, live, doing Bible study, teaching Bible study. As a matter of fact, in January, I'm going to start teaching Revelation. And I'm going to break it verse by verse, chapter by chapter, and tell you what everything means, starting in January. I'll be doing that. Well, thank you. Well, that's the first time I've seen that. It's beautiful. Thank you, Debbie. But And people say to me, well, the Christians cannot be possessed. Okay, that's not true. And it's theologically incorrect. And let me explain before people start screaming at me. A Christian, like anyone else, can still fall into the temptation of sin. Just because you're a Christian doesn't mean you don't sin anymore. Now, listen very carefully before you start screaming at me, because I'm seeing TikToks, I'm seeing some rude comments already, which is and thank you, moderators, for being here. There are two types of demonic activity. Two. There's ordinary demonic activity, and then there's extraordinary. Ordinary demonic activity is when the demon tempts you to do something, to sin. For example, if you have a weakness for lust or money or whatever it might be, or even the temptation to use items like a Ouija board to communicate with the spirit world. Oh, it's not so bad. It's not so dangerous. All that hocus pocus stuff. Yeah, go ahead and do it. That temptation you fall into, and you then say, well, let's just try it. Now, you're a Christian, but you've also sinned because you fell into temptation. You have given the invitation a demonic entity needs the very moment you say, is there anyone here? Can you please make a noise? Or what is your name? You now have given the invitation that a demonic entity needs. Now, you can sit there and say, before I play with this Ouija board, thank you, Debbie, I appreciate it. Before I use the Ouija board, I'm going to say nothing bad can come through. That demon doesn't give a darn. That demon doesn't care about you. Nothing bad can come through. It doesn't work that way. It does not work. Remember, we still have free will. Christians have free will. So we can freely choose to reject demons, or we can freely choose to accept them. So you can say, I'm a Christian, and yet still play with the Ouija board. And that invitation is your free will. You've used it, and the demonic entity has taken it. That's how it works, folks. There's this false narrative that if you're a Christian, you can never be possessed. The majority of I'm telling you, the majority of cases, Annalise Michel, Emily Rose, that's her, the exorcism of Emily Rose. Annalise Michel was a very devout Catholic. She was very devout. Her whole family was incredibly devoted. They were Christians to extreme levels. And she was possessed. There have been thousands of cases throughout the church history where people were they were Christians, but they were also possessed because they done things, whether it be accidental or purposeful. They did things for the invitation, and you can still have free will. If you're a Christian, you still have free will, and you can make a mistake. So I'm telling you, folks, just do not. Again, I look. I am not here because I'm gaining anything. I'm not here because of ulterior motives. I am here because I'm trying to teach you that these are the things that I'm seeing, and it's real. It's not make believe. And we live in a world. We live in a world where people want to forget about that, or they want to push away. They want to push demonic entities away. Well, it's not so bad. And then there are television shows where they try to make demons not so bad. Little cartoons. That's disturbing to me. That is very disturbing. There are networks on television, cable networks, where they have television, they have cartoons where My Little Demon or some other nonsense, where her father was Satan or some ridiculous. Folks, this is the world that we're entering. And now, see, here's the problem. When you begin to normalize demonic activity, when you begin to normalize demons, then without you even being aware, then you begin to think, well, demons aren't so bad. I'm telling you, this is how it works. It starts. I studied journalism. I studied communication at Loyola University in Chicago. I know subliminal messages. I understand subliminal messages. I understand how they're incorporated in many of the shows, and you're not even aware of it. But that's why they're subliminal messages. I also know that a lot of corporations will hire psychologists who study subliminal messages so that they can place products. They're called product placement. For example, listen to this. Listen to this. I'll get your questions in a minute. Have you ever watched the television show? You're watching, and you're like, man, I am craving Oreos. Why am I craving Oreos? You have no idea, but your brain processed it through your subconscious because they had product placement in that commercial where Oreos was in the background. They don't put it like Oreos, here it is. No, that's not subliminal messages. They'll place it in the background, or they'll have someone eating it and like, oh, that's the greatest thing in the world. In the background, your brain picks it up. Your subconscious picks it up. And before you know it, now you're craving Oreos. That is exactly how subliminal messages work. And it's being done on cartoons. It's being done. It's everywhere. And then when you're trained in it, you can spot it. So what I'm trying to say to you is when they start placing cartoon characters where they're demons, my little demon, and their father happens to be Satan, and then they try to reduce it or normalize demonic activity. And oh, that's cute. It's a little cartoon. It's not going to hurt anybody. Yeah, that's how it starts. That's exactly how it starts. When you start normalizing demonic entities through cartoons and then you start viewing them differently, well, maybe they're not so bad. And then before you know it, and watch how it works. And then before you know it, now you're going to the store in the toy aisle, and now you're buying the very figures, the very demonic cartoon character figures for your child for Christmas or for birthdays. And you don't give a second thought about it. That is subliminal messages. That's how it works. We are inundated with them. Inundated. And I'm telling you, that's, again, people may say, oh, well, okay. It's trouble. It's very troubling, very, very troubling. But what are you going to do? So anyway, that's I'm just trying to tell you that's October. Nice, very. That's appreciate you quoting John Lennon. Imagine, it's a great song, but I would disagree. By the way, keep in mind for those of you who want to study near-death experiences, I had Dr. Jeffrey Long on. He's a world-leading expert on near-death experience. He's actually a medical doctor, and he is the expert on near-death experiences. And I would encourage you to go to his website, nderf.org, nderf.org. That is the largest collection of near-death experience stories of people who were clinically dead and came back. They were clinically dead. No brain activity. They're dead. And they have come back, and although the song Imagine says no heaven or hell below us, I'm pretty confident he's wrong, because in fact there is. So I would encourage you. It's ND as in dog, ERF.org. Okay, NDERF.org. Okay. So, there's a lot of people who have, there are atheists who were clinically dead, and they came back. And, Yoko Ono. Yeah. She's the one who wrote it, of course. But, so Charlie says, this guy is another snake oil salesman. What am I selling? Don't delete him, Charlie. Charlie, what am I selling? So Charlie Parker said, this guy is nothing but an oil salesman. So Charlie, what have I sold you? So see, this is what I'm talking. Charlie, tell me, what have I sold you? See, this is a perfect example of a troll. He needs attention. So let's give Charlie some attention. What did I say? What did I sell you? Nothing. I've not sold you anything. What I've done is spent now 35 minutes talking about demonology and the dangers therein. I think that's what's called ordinary demonic activity. Did you see how that works? Going on clergy's page, attacking clergy who's teaching everyone about demons and possession. And yet he doesn't realize he's fallen into ordinary demonic activity. That's how it works. Just like that. Just like that. And don't even realize it. So, yeah. Pretty sad. Pretty sad. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. And let me just, of course, tell everybody on TikTok, we just ask that people be kind. That's it. Just be kind. If you're mean, if you're nasty, if you start attacking people, if you're name calling and calling out demons and all this other stuff, Drew, the mods are in there and they're working hard. Remember, the chat's going up so fast. It's going up so fast. So they're doing a great job. All right. Does anyone kiss the purple? No. Oh shoot. No one kisses the purple ring. I don't. I serve the homeless. So for 15, 20 years now, I've been going to homeless camps in Kentucky, Indiana, and Tennessee, and I pass out food and clothes. I don't need someone kissing my ring. I'm serving the poor. So no, but I appreciate the question. I don't know anything about that Draven shower. I don't know. Today, we're going to talk about haunted objects, sleep paralysis very quickly. No. Sleep paralysis, there is a lot of information out there saying that sleep paralysis are all demonic. That's not true. That's simply not true. And it's irresponsible to teach that. It truly is. I actually had a neurologist on my show, a neurosurgeon, actually. So he would know. I mean, he studied the brain all his life. So he's a neurosurgeon. And I talked to him about sleep paralysis. Now, this is what he said. Again, I'm passing this on to you. He said, if there's isolated sleep paralysis and recurrent isolated sleep paralysis, and this is true, and this is what I validated this also through the cases that I have had. If you are experiencing what's called the old hag syndrome, where you see this creature or whatever it is, when you're either waking up or going to sleep, and that's all you're only experiencing it then, 99.999%, you're dealing with sleep paralysis. That's it. Well, if you're dealing with a true demonic entity, it's not contingent upon whether or not you're waking up or going to sleep. So it can happen at any hour, at any time. But if it only occurs when you're waking up or going to sleep, the neurosurgeon, and I can validate this through the cases that I've worked, said that 99.99% it can be explained logically. Now, if you have recurrent isolated sleep paralysis, which is RISP, then he said you need to be tested for narcolepsy. Again, that's his, as a neurosurgeon, that's his medical personal opinion, and there you go. So you can check that out and go from there. No, I studied for the Roman Catholic priesthood for 6 years. And then I went to, I finished my seminary, and then I went to the United States Old Catholic Church. So you can go usocc.org. And by the way, I think it's fair to say, 20 years ago, I went public with my ministry. And do you know, in the paranormal, 20 years, I went public with my ministry. God, 20 years ago. There was only one other clergy doing it, helping the paranormal community. Only one. And his name was Father Andrew Calder. He was a friend of mine. He was an Episcopalian. He did not want to perform exorcisms. He was not called to be an exorcist. He did help, but he did not feel comfortable at all performing the solemn rite of exorcism. So he's passed. But we were the first, because there was no one else there. There was nobody else helping the paranormal community. None. Because I was there. I know. So I want to talk about haunted objects, and then we're kind of going to go from there, because we're going to talk from the extreme and then of course to not so extreme. This was, well, yeah, we'll talk about it now. A family bought this for her mom bought this for her son. These have been blessed. And she just collected dolls. She just liked little dolls. And she just, I don't know why she liked them, but she did. This little fella has been blessed. And I'll put it over here. She bought it for her son. And she placed it up on the mantle. And they had no paranormal activity in their home at all. None. But they would hear like running upstairs, and they were absolutely convinced that their son was getting out of bed, running on the hardwood floors. And, she would get in bed. And of course, she'd go upstairs and find him. He was completely sound asleep. He wasn't out of his bed. And it would happen again and happen again. So, but it was never violent. He had an imaginary friend, the little boy. And I think he was 4 or 5. I can't remember. I think it was 4. I can't remember the age. It's been a while. And, but he would talk about his little friend. There wasn't a violent activity. There was no smell. There was no desecration of religious objects. There was no scratches, no biting, no pinching. There was nothing of that nature at all. Nothing. But so they were downstairs, and they would hear, 11, 12 o'clock at night, they would hear what sounded like a little small kid running down the hallway. And so they contacted me. I went to their home. We got some evidence. It wasn't a whole lot of evidence, but we got some. And then we took it. We took it from her because it was the best thing. She put tape here because there's a little name. There was a little boy's name that was placed here, and allegedly, from what she understands, a little boy passed away, and this was his favorite doll. So that's a story. So she thought maybe if we put tape on it, then maybe that she didn't know. She didn't know, and so there you go. So that's what this and the name. I think his name's. I think it's Joey. I don't want to peel it off, but I think it's Joy, and that was the little boy. The little boy. I think he was 3 or 4. I can't remember the exact, but that was the little boy's friend. He named him Joey, and there had Joey. Looked like a little kid had written Joey on it, and so Joey was the name of the imaginary friend of this kid. So I took this and I blessed it, of course, and so I have not had any issues with that at all, none. I don't keep these haunted items in my home. I have them here now, so I can share with you. There are several of them that I will not bring in my home. I won't do it. There's just no way, because of that really violent activity. So I'm sorry, but I can't do that because I don't want to put myself in a situation where, it's going to be dangerous. These folks here, I took this from a home. This was you can see a little thing here. She had 2 of them. She had this one, and then she had one for her husband. And they like to collect these little knick-knack things in their house. So there's another one. It's a matching one, but it's a little husband with a little bow, a bow tie. And they brought this home, and they thought, well, one will represent me, one will represent my husband. No big deal. Well, they brought these things home, and they put them on a mantle. Again, they liked interesting things. Well, as soon as they put this on the mantle with their husband, and they thought it was cute and everything, they would see shadows, a black shadow cross the mirror. They had a big mirror in their living room, and that's where they placed them. They placed this on the shelf. So one here and the other one on the other side for her husband. And they would see shadows. Multiple shadows walk across this huge mirror. It's like 6, 7 foot tall. It's a massive, massive mirror in the great room. And they would see shadow all the time. And they would have some activity like bangings on the wall, or originally they thought it was either a raccoon or a rat had gotten in between the walls, because they kept hearing a really loud, almost like a scratch, but it was loud. They had people come over, they viewed it, nothing. The exterminator, there was nothing there. There was nothing there. And so they asked me to take this away. And so she was taking it's very fragile, so you can hear. So she was taking these down from her shelf, and the husband's skull shattered because they had marble, and it shattered all over the place. So, but this one we kept, and I went to their home, and I blessed their home, and I took this, and of course I blessed this as well. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, people, for whatever reason, they like to collect strange oddities like this, and she just thought it was cute. They both love the paranormal. They both love scary things. And when they saw it at an antique store, they said, "Wow, this is for the bride," and the other one looks like a groom. I can't explain it, but really the whole entire house it was very Gothic. Not that there's anything wrong with Gothic, but everything was very, very dark and gray and purple, dark purple. They just loved it. So that is that. I wouldn't want that in my house. And if I was married, I certainly wouldn't say, "Hey, I'm gonna put a skull and you're gonna be that skull." I just, I don't think I would do that. That's just me. James, get baptized. I am baptized. But thank you for being concerned about me being baptized. I'm baptized, but I appreciate you telling me that I need to get baptized. Okay. Yeah. Right. I knew Lorraine. Lorraine was a friend of mine. And I loved Lorraine. She was a sweetheart of a woman. And I did not know Ed, but I did know Lorraine. So, no, it was not shattered just because the skull was shattered. The soul was not shattered. Okay, so let me get these. These were collected in New Orleans at a shop that was questionable. And they're beautiful. I mean, when you see them, but again, you have one as a male and one as a female. And they hang up, basically on the wall as well. Anyway, they hang up. They have two, things here, like you just hang them up. Well, so they brought these home. And this was from a shop in New Orleans that sells, a lot of questionable things, things that you really shouldn't collect. But they liked it, and they brought it home. They began smelling sulfur and rotten flesh. And the dog, they had a couple animals there, and their dogs were terrified. The dogs would not go towards these things at all. And they would hear bangings, and just really loud bangings, and the whole mood changed in the house. It got dark. They were always very positive people, but everything got very dark for them. And they had contacted me, and I asked, what can I do? And they told me. And when I went to a house in Louisiana to bless a home. And then they're right on 40 minutes, 35 minutes or so from New Orleans. And so since I was already in New Orleans, I swung down, and then I blessed their home, and I took these from the home. I'm not going to show this, but on the back of these, the family was quite terrified, obviously because of the activity. But when they bought them, again, these were nothing. There was no markings, nothing on them. On the back of both of them, there is a demonic entity's name that is well known, that is actually sketched into, I don't know what this plaster, I guess that's what it is, a plaster. But both of them, there is a demonic entity's name that's actually scratched into these things. And they swear they did not do it. This is a family that are highly educated, and I can, when you're in this field for a long time, and you've interviewed people long enough, you can kind of get an idea They're not paranormal, like they super fans or anything like this at all. But they wanted these things gone, and they did not know how to get rid of them. So yeah, but on both of them, there is a demonic entity's name that is scratched on both. And so I took them, and there we go. So I'll put this here. And again, I have these were blessed. They were all blessed. And that's what I do. That's how I help people. This here is a cross, a crucifix. Now, technically, this is a sick call, or otherwise, the sacrament of last rites, or extreme unction. But so normally we take take this crucifix with us, and this is an older one. And what's really cool about this is this lifts up, and then you have here. These are the original candles. And here is where the holy water is. So basically what you do is there's a little place here, and you place the crucifix like that, and it stands like this. Now, what I do, because this is old, I don't like to light the candles, because these are original. So I'll put like little small tea lights. They're really, really small, like that big. So I'll put little tea lights here. Well, I went to a house where they were really, really scared. I mean, this was very violent in their home. And this was in Louisville. This was in Kentucky. As Bishop David was with me. There was another investigator that was with me. Bishop David Price, he's a bishop of the church. He was with me. Now, I've never seen this before. What happened? This is the first time I've ever seen this. But I placed this on the table, and we began what's called the minor rite of exorcism. So the minor rite of exorcism, let me just explain this, because this is important. There's three types, technically. There's the minor rite of exorcism. So that's when a demonic entity has infested itself within the home. You do not perform an exorcism on the home. That doesn't exist. That's nonsense. You bless the home. You perform the exorcism on the demonic entity that has infested itself in the home. You see, that's the difference. People say you perform exorcism on the home. No, you don't. You bless the home. So and then there's what's called a deliverance. A deliverance prayer is when a person is under the stage of oppression. That's when the demonic has attached itself to an individual, and it's breaking their intellect and will down. It's breaking them down so that possession can take place. So we pray at what's called a prayer of deliverance, where we remove that demonic entity from that person. That's a deliverance. The solemn rite of exorcism is a very sacred rite. The first form was written in 1614. That's actually an exorcism that is performed on a demonic entity that has possessed an individual. Okay, so those are very, very important. So I went to the home and I performed the minor rite of exorcism, because a demonic entity, no question, infested itself within the home. They had really violent activity. So I placed this on the table. I lit the tea lights. We began praying the St. Michael prayer. We pray the Our Father. And just as we started, this tea light here, it was like a flame torch. I've never seen this a flame torch. It went from here, and the flame went all the way up to here. This was witnessed by not just, now for some people say, oh, come on. It destroyed the crucifix. It actually burnt through. And we're not talking about, look at that. We're not talking about a little tiny flame here. It actually burnt it. There. Do you see it? And what made me mad is, of course, this is a 1930s, 1920s, 1930s crucifix. So this is old. And it literally burnt through it. As if someone, it's like this demonic entity just put a flame torch on it. So I'm not talking about just a flame just like flickering up, because a flame flickering up wouldn't have done that. This thing was like a flame torch, and this actually caught fire. And one of the investigators said, Bishop, the crucifix is on fire. And I turned around, I saw that flame torch, because that's the only way to describe it, from here to there, and absolutely destroy that. That's what's called why you lie. Go away, Chico. No one's paying attention to you. Really? Just block Chico, please. Thank you. Good grief. These trolls, trolls, they need attention, don't they? Trolls on TikTok, I'm not paying attention to you because I'm actually educating people who really want to know about this. So if you don't, pity, and I won't pay attention to you. You're not going to get me upset. You're not going to get me, have me stop. I'm not going to pout and cry because you're trolling. I'm going to ignore you. That's what I will do. So again, I have to deal with this. You will not get my attention at all. So go troll someplace else, because obviously you're trying to get somebody's attention because maybe mama didn't give you enough attention when you were babies. But see, I'm not your mama. I'm teaching people about demonology and this real existence. So yeah, again, and poor moderators, it's scrolling so fast. The moderators are probably saying, I can't keep up. I know. But anyway, the poor moderators on TikTok, they're like, I can't keep up. But this is, I'm continuing. Yeah, I'm just letting them know. Boy, some of these comments on TikTok. No, I will not be your daddy, but thank you for asking. I don't even know how to respond to that one. But anyway, this is what it is. Okay. Now, understand, people say, so that's what it was. It literally burned it. Now, people say, well, you worship these things. Oh, come on, good grief. We don't worship them. We don't worship these any more than you worship a picture of your loved one on the wall. You have a picture of your loved one on the wall because it reminds you of their love for you and your love for them. You venerate and honor and respect them. I don't worship this. This is an object. However, this crucifix reminds me of the love that God has for me and you. And when I see this crucifix, I am reminded of that love. That's what we do. Okay, there you go. Yeah, we're having fun tonight, aren't we? Having fun. My goodness gracious. Yes, women can be exorcists. Yep. Now, of course, in the Roman Catholic Church, the answer is no. But yes, I have friends that are women, obviously, and that are women exorcists. Do I still use it? I do. Good. Appreciate the question. I do. Okay. The question is, why won't you go back on TV again? Well, I did Ghost Adventures, the Bobby Mackey's episode. I did History, National Geographic, and all. Here's what I can say. I can't say too much, but I will be. I did some filming in Los Angeles, and so I will be appearing as a cast member, a full cast member for an entire season. I wish I could tell you more, but we're not allowed to because I can't even tell you when it's going to air. And it's believe me, I've been wanting to for a while, but I can't control it. But once we're allowed to tell you, I will. Now, I just did a filming with Lionsgate, the films with the movie called Prey, Prey, Pray for the Devil. They asked me to be a part of a campaign to talk about it, and so I did. I've seen the movie. It's quite intense. It is very, very intense. There are some scenes. They did a really great job. I do know that they consulted with an actual legitimate exorcist that is trained, not somebody, I'm going to be an exorcist today. And so they did work with them. I'm not allowed to say who. And you could tell. I could tell that they worked with a validly trained exorcist based on the scenes in the movie. Because you know how some Hollywood movies is like, oh, come on, give me a break. There are some scenes in the movie that I've seen. So it was very intense. And I would encourage you, if you have not seen, if you like it, I would encourage you to check it out. I think you will enjoy it. Look at the camera. Okay, Amanda, I'm looking at the camera. There we go. We got to do a series. Amanda told me to look at the camera. For those of you who have no idea what I'm doing, keep in mind that I have two different computers running. Okay. I have this computer for TikTok, and I have this for Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter and Spreaker. So when I'm panning both, that's why I go back and forth like that. So, demonic oppression. Wayne says, how do you stop? And I still have a few more items that I'm going to talk about. How do you stop demonic oppression? Well, first of all, here's the deal. And that's a good question. First of all, what's demonic oppression? Nice bling. Well, thank you very much. I actually bought this on eBay for $75. True story. I live a very, very simple life. I don't spend money on myself. I don't like spending, because any money that I have left over, I want to get at people's homes. Okay. Now, I was going to say something, but I forgot what I was going to say. This one here is the next thing that I want to talk about. All right. I have two accounts. Okay, I have two accounts. This one on TikTok, it's at Bishop James Long, all one word. And then there's one more, bishopjameslong.official. So I want, for those of you who are on TikTok, make sure you follow that other one, bishopjameslong.official. Okay? Because I am going to eventually be doing some videos over there that I'm not going to be doing on this account. And one of those videos is I'm going to be doing a video series on the Gates of Hell Cemetery in Kentucky. Now, that brings me to this next object. So again, you got to follow it. Bishop James Long, make sure you follow the right one. bishopjameslong.official. Thank you very much, Jax. I appreciate that. Okay. The Gates of Hell Cemetery is located in Kentucky. For those of you who've heard this before, please indulge me for a moment, because there's a lot of new folks who haven't. I've been in the paranormal field for a long, long time. Nobody in the paranormal field even knew this cemetery existed. It's an old abandoned cemetery in Kentucky. As a matter of fact, it has a long, windy road, like a 2 miles off the main path. And as soon as you get onto, I'm telling you, as soon as you get on this dirt road, rocky road, you feel intense oppression. You feel it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And so you have to go on this windy road, and then you go to the very end. It dead ends at this cemetery that's abandoned. This cemetery it's like a fence around it. It's like a U-shaped fence. And in the back it has a big dead tree there, where unfortunately people do some terrible things and sacrifice animals and all this other stuff. A family asked me to go there and bless the ground, because there had been a lot of people who've been desecrating the ground. And I did with the team. We went there and we thought we were just going to bless it, and that was it. All hell broke loose in that cemetery. It was violent. Now, let me tell you what first of all, before I share this next thing, I was there with myself, Bishop David, and there was 2 other people that were there. We went there at around midnight because we wanted to document and see what was going on. Now, we weren't there to perform the minor rite of exorcism. We just wanted to document it to see if what this person was saying was true, that there was a weird activity going on there. There's one path going in, one path, the same path going out. It's a small little dirt path. We went to the very back, and this was in the middle of summer. There were, crickets. They were all they were making noises. The animals were there. They're making the noises. And then it just got quiet. And deathly quiet. Now, there are trees surrounding the cemetery, and they're big, huge trees. And on the top of the trees were swaying back and forth. They were swaying back, but we felt no wind where we were down by this tree, none. Then we all saw all these shadow people. I mean, first it was like, it's like they were darting from one tree to another. And we thought it was actually the locals playing a joke on us. They were wearing all black. But then we started, there were no noise. Because there was leaves everywhere, of course, but there was no noise. And there's woods. You would have heard something crack. We heard nothing, but we saw the shadows. And it started in the back, but then it kept going around like this. And we were being cut off. And we knew we were being cut off. And so that's when we said, okay, it's time to go. It's time to go. This is not good. We're not here to perform the minor rite of exorcism. We don't have our items. We need to go. So we were leaving. We walked out and we were finally at the entrance. Our backs were turned and there's a big tree right there in the entrance. And one of the investigators had turned around and we heard him shake. And he was just shaking. He had the flashlight shine on something. And we heard that he was shaking. He was scared. We looked at him. His face was pale as a ghost. We turned around and we looked at what he was looking at on this tree. Now, folks, I swear to you, I would take a lie detector test right now. I wish I could. I don't know what this thing was that we saw. I have no idea. I can't define it, but we saw something. And it was so clear what we saw. I can describe it to a T. It was massive. It looked like it was an 8-10 foot creature. It was in the tree. It had a massive wingspan like a bat. That's what it looked like. It looked like bat wings to me. It was so clear. We saw the claws on the feet right there hanging on the branch. Its eyes looked right at us. They were solid red, almost like a fluorescent bright or LED red. It had a bat face, a long torso, and it looked right at us. Right at us. Didn't say a word. Didn't utter a sound. But we all knew that if we walked 1 foot closer, we were done. We all knew it. We all knew this. We immediately said, no, because I don't know what that was. I don't know. I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. I don't know what I really don't know what that is. How are you for Christmas? Let's see. Pancho del Rancho 310. Hey, Bishop, how are you for Christmas? Can I get a free 30-minute phone call, please? Sure. Just send me a message on my Facebook. I'll give you a call. If you need me to give you a call, I'll be more than happy to give you a call. That's for anybody. So Del Rancho, send me a message on Facebook, facebook.com/Bishop James Long. Bishop James Long is make sure it's all one word. Hold on, folks. I don't know what Del Rancho needs. He might be struggling with something, and so I'll tell you guys in just a second. But make sure, Del Rancho, that you send it to the right one. Okay. Yeah, I'll be happy to call you. That's the one. That's the Facebook one. Make sure you do that one. Okay. Just so go there and just send me a message with your phone number, Del Rancho, and I'll be happy to call. Okay. No, there's no. I don't believe it. No, I'm not going to charge. It's not about money. It's not about money. It's about helping one person at a time. If I can help one person at a time, if I just one person, then that's all that matters. I swear, people got to understand that sometimes you think you have to, and I'll get to the story, back to the story, but sometimes we think we have to do these big, huge, grandiose things in life to prove our worth, and you don't. If you just help one person, then the heavens, I truly believe the heavens rejoice. I believe that with all my heart. And I don't know what Del Rancho is going through, but if I can help Del Rancho or anybody, I try to do better tomorrow. I always try to be better tomorrow than what I was today. That's the goal. And so if I can help you, I'll be more than happy. So send me a message there at Del Rancho. So We looked at this thing. We didn't know what it was. I can't define it. Even to this day, I can't define this massive creature, but we all saw it. We all described it. And Bishop David Price saw it too. Bishop David Price, he's on the board of Waverly Hills. Bishop David is very intelligent, highly analytical. He doesn't get into, he's one of those people that he's very logical. But what he saw, it really shook all of us up. I went home and I got my little, she's in heaven now, but my little fur baby Kylie. And I put outside in the front yard to do her business. Now, across the street, there's a big open field and there's bushes. Now, folks, I have heard growls before. I've heard deep growls before during an exorcism. But what I heard that night, I've never heard before. And I was about 20 feet away from it, I would say. When Kylie was doing her business, I heard a growl that was so deep. Have you ever been, let me ask you, what's happening to TikTok? Nothing. We're still on TikTok. Have you ever been to like you pull up at a stop sign or a stoplight and someone has that bass boom, 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 that music? That's what it was like. But they have the bass full throttle. And it was like, it even shakes your car. I'm going to tell you something. When I was outside with Kylie, I heard that deep boom, boom, boom. And it was like someone had put a bass speaker on my back and turned it up. The chambers inside I heard when there was this, it was really deep. And people say it was a wolf. No. Think bigger. Well, it was a bear. Well, we do have black bear occasionally here, but it's very, very rare. Think bigger. This thing was massive. Again, it was like someone turning their bass up. And I grabbed Kylie and said, nope. Kylie stopped. Yep, Kylie heard it. And she froze and looked right over there. I grabbed her and she was right in the middle of her business. I said, I'm sorry, but we got to go inside. Because I didn't know what that was. But I heard the growl and so did she. And we knew that we didn't want, because I didn't know what it was. So I don't really know what that was that I saw. I don't know. What we all saw. Well, you know what? Yes. That night when we saw that creature, it's called the Gates of Hell Cemetery. And here's how it got its name. 20 years ago, when I was doing online radio, we were talking, the team was talking. I was like, man, this is like the gates of hell. And that's how, I still have the recording. That is how this cemetery got its name in Kentucky, because we were the very first team ever to investigate this place in the paranormal. I know, because I've been in the paranormal for 35 years. And no one even knew this place even existed. And that's how this place, the Gates of Hell Cemetery in Kentucky, got its name 20 years ago. So a family member called me, a family member whose loved one is buried in the cemetery. It's no longer active. It's been abandoned for quite some time, but people are still buried there. And they've asked me to go because they believe that they saw some activity there and they wanted me to check it out. I went there with a couple other folks. There was an altar. And there were some animals that had clearly had just been sacrificed, killed. Terrible. And on the altar, there was this. Now, I'm fully aware that you can go buy these things. But on the top of this, it's been cleaned up. On the top of this was obviously it was a big black candle, but it was kind of burnt down. And there were two red candles on the side. And there were some diagrams, which we're not going to get into. On the altar. But this here, this is what I saw. And I immediately obviously took it. I removed the altar and I contacted the police because obviously animals had been abused, which I don't tolerate that. And this was removed from the Gates of Hell Cemetery. No, Kathy, when you're a mountain lion, think bigger. Think bigger. My first My first investigation was at Waverly Hills, Ellen, in Louisville, Kentucky. If I wrote Romantic Terror Dreams into a book, will it give life to those entities? You don't want to mention the names. If you have the names, you certainly don't want to mention the names. But I think that it's important to talk about it. I do. Because when you talk about it and you say, hey, look, this is what I've experienced, then it lets people know that maybe they're not alone, or maybe they're not going crazy. Because there's a lot of clergy that will tell families, oh, you just gone crazy. You're going crazy, or you're just imagining it, or no, none of that stuff is real. So I think that when you talk about it, it gives people, it lets people know that, what, that there's other people going through it. I don't know if it's Bigfoot. I don't know. I do believe that, I do believe in Bigfoot. What did you feel at Bobby Mackey's? Look, I'll tell you this and I've told people this before. If I don't feel anything, I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you, oh, hey, look, this is what I don't work for Bobby Mackey's. So if I don't feel anything, I'll tell you. But I will tell you that night when we did the third investigation at Ghost Adventures, you did not see everything that actually went on. They didn't air it. They actually had to close down. They had to stop filming the lockdown. They had to stop it because the guys couldn't do it anymore. Aaron was completely distraught and Zach was gone. They stopped. I think they stopped like 4:30 in the morning because they couldn't finish it. I saw it. I was there. I witnessed it. I witnessed the growl. I heard the growl. I witnessed Zach's eyes going black. I witnessed Aaron. He was giving me a look like he was going to seriously harm me. The evidence that we captured there was unbelievable because they were going through some pretty serious, personal issues, which I'm not going to mention, but they were going through some very personal issues, and the demonic came through and mentioned those things. And it really, it affected them. It affected them. Well, yeah, just let it be. Well, no, I can't. I'm an exorcist. My job is to battle the demonic, to help families. That's why I do it. Why I do this ministry is because there are people who are legitimately terrified, just like the family in Michigan, and they are begging me, they are pleading with me to get up there to help them. They're not even in their home. They won't go in their home because the activity is so violent in their home that these demonic entity is attacking their children. And they're frightened. So there are people like myself who do this for very few, who do this for absolutely nothing, no fee whatsoever. We give our time freely, not because we have to, but because we choose to. And people always ask me, why do you do this? Well, why? The same reason that if your family was going through this, you wouldn't ask me, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this ministry? You would be saying, thank God you're doing it. You see, this is see how it affects, when it affects you and your family, then you're like, well, thank God there's people like Bishop Long or other clergy who do this for absolutely free, don't charge you a penny, who's trying to help you. Then you won't question it ever again. But if it happens to someone else, well, why are clergy even doing this? This is nonsense until you go through it. And I pray to God none of you do. But if you do, I guarantee you'll be very unbelievably happy that there are clergy out there, some that do this. Quite honestly, most clergy don't do it for free. Most clergy, I know clergy who charge $5,000 to bless your home. I know people who charge $1,000 to do it on Skype. But people are so desperate because they don't know where to turn to. They don't know who to turn to. And so they're willing to pay these people to do blessings on Skype. $1,000. This family, I mean, this family paid $500 for somebody to do it over the phone. They were so, and $500 is a lot of money for them. Remember, the father works at Walmart. He does the best he can. The mom works a part-time job, but they make ends meet. I mean, they're barely surviving, but they saved it. And somebody, I can guarantee I can get rid of it over the phone. So they paid this person $500. All they did is make it worse. Do I teach others? Oh yeah. I have online classes. I teach online demonology, paranormal studies, genealogy, and angelology. I teach all 4 classes online on Facebook, and you learn at your own pace. It's 100% online, and you can go to bishopjameslong.com, bishopjameslong.com, and click on the class link, and you can sign up. How do you do a basic cleansing on your home? Good question. What you can do, there's a prayer that you can do online. You can Google it. Some people call it chalking of the door, like chalking of the door, or epiphany of the door. There are several terms that people call it, or blessing of the doors. But just type that in, and you'll see the prayer, and it's a very ancient ritual, a very ancient blessing, and anybody can do that. You can all do that in your home. So the epiphany of the doors, or chalking of the door, and well, you're very welcome. And that's a good way to easily to do that. There's 2 more, and then I'll get to some of your questions. I've been trying to answer some of your questions. This actually was taken from a store in New Orleans. The store owner collects, neat stuff, oddities, to say that. And this item was actually left on his the I don't know, doorstep. I don't know what you call it, the entrance to the store. So this was left. No information, nothing at all. They had no idea. So when he came and he opened the store, it was so unique because he's never seen this before. So he thought, well, I'll just put it, on the front of the big window, obviously, because it'll grab people's attention. He'll sell it. I mean, because that's what he did. He sold oddities. He was convinced that this would absolutely. Well, he put this item, and I'll show it in a minute. He put this item on the shelf right there in the big window. Now, this is a very, very busy oddity store. I mean, he made a lot of money, and he did quite well. The moment he put this on that shelf in front of that big window on display, he went from making a substantial amount of money to no customers for 2 weeks. None. Now, you got to understand, for him, that was unheard of. And so this is what it, and he asked me to take it away, and I did, and this is what it is. It is, I tell you what, folks, this is, I can't describe it to you. I mean, you can see it, but I got to tell you something. This is creepy, and unfortunately, and I tell you what, in a minute, when we stop here, I'll continue to do a little bit of TikTok. And if you guys want to go on the camera with me, you can, but please understand that I can't do it now. And the reason being, because remember, I run it on 2 different computers. So if I bring people on TikTok here, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Spreaker won't hear you or see you because they're not connected. So this is, but this is it. It's stitched here. You can see that it's stitched here, and this is what the back looks like. So it's stitched there. It's very hard. I just don't know. You know what I need? What I need to do is take this as somebody who can actually validate what this. I don't know what the hair is. Very soft. I don't know if it's human hair. Some people have told me it is human hair. There was a hairstylist, and they said, "Oh, there's no doubt it's human hair, no question." And I said, "Well, how do you know?" Because he said, "Well, when you put your arm around, you can feel that it's a lot softer. If it was like an animal, it has a little bit stronger texture, like deer or something like that." But he's absolutely convinced this was human hair. So But yeah, X-ray. Well, I would, but I'm trying to spend money to get to people's homes. I don't. X-ray would be expensive. I would love. I would love to. I would love to validate or find out what is this. I don't know. I don't know. But I do know that this thing caused that owner, and it's very soft. But I have been told by some people that this is that in some cultures they will take the hair of a deceased loved one and they will make things like this. I have also been told that they did this for curses. So I don't know. But it is quite interesting. I mean, it's seriously. I mean, it just doesn't. When you just look at it from that perspective, it's just very uncomfortable. Yeah. See, that's what it's just not good. Not good. But it has been blessed. But when you see it live, it's complete. It's a different perspective. Yeah, it really is. It's a different thing altogether. So, okay. So let's get into some of your questions, and then because we have 8:30, and I want to make sure that I do that. We have almost 129,000 likes. So thank you for those of you who are liking this video on TikTok. I sincerely appreciate that. For those of you who gave little gifts on the ministry, thank you for that as well. And if anyone has donated, because I haven't checked, but if anyone's donated to the ministry so I can get to this family, thank you for donating that as well. Thank you. Oh yeah. This little thing here, this is a Teddy Ruxpin, or I guess it is, but I don't know. As you can see, there's nothing in here. So there's no batteries in this little sucker. Now, what happened to this little Teddy Ruxpin is very, very uncomfortable. This actually was purchased by a dad. Now, I don't know. Some people told me that he's a first generation, that he's not original. I don't know. I don't know anything about these things because I don't have any kids. But I can tell you that this little sucker. So this dad bought this thing. And he bought it for his child. And so it was in the middle of the night. And this thing then started talking. Now you say, well, so what? So he started talking. Well, here's the problem. He put this little doodad in the baby's pen, or not the pen, the cradle, crib, or whatever you call it. And then it started talking, making noises. Now I'm going to tell you something. He walked into this thing, and at first he didn't think anything of it. He was like, well, big deal. But then he realized there are no batteries. He forgot to put batteries in this thing. And it started talking in the middle of the night. It was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. One time I did this. I did it live, and he did something, or he said something. I can't make him a boo, but I'm telling you, this thing, the father was terrified. He wanted nothing of it. And he said, nope. And so he contacted me. This is like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. It started talking. And so he immediately, it wasn't violent. There was no, there was no like black shadows or anything like that. It just started going off on its own. And that's when he said, there's no way I'm going to do this. There's no way. And so he begged me to take it away, and I did. And of course, the child got upset, but I guess no, his mouth doesn't move. It's not animatronic or whatever. It's just a regular, just plush. That's all it is. Yeah, it doesn't move. So no, it's like, oh. So here, Miss Wilma. If Miss Wilma's watching, Miss Wilma, here's your bear. You love the bears. Miss Wilma loves the bears. Here you go, Miss Wilma. Yeah, you want something to eat? So anyway, I don't know. So you guys can figure this out, but that's what he did. Yeah. But he started talking at 2 o'clock, like at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So I don't know.
Your little bear.
Oh no, you did not. Where is my holy water? Oh, no, you did not. No, 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 no. Where's my holy water? I've already blessed this sucker a couple times. Oh, no. He did this last time, and I'm not playing this game. I'm not going to play this game. No. There's one battery. That's it. Do his arm. That's the clicker. No. Yeah, I've got to bless this again. There it is. No, we're not doing that. That's why I don't like. That's why I don't like have. That's why I very rarely put these things in my home. 3 batteries. No, I'm not going to come. I'm not communicating with anything in my home. Nope. 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 That's not a Teddy Ruxpin. What is it? Do you know what it is? All the batteries were out except for there was one battery. But I just clicked it. I clicked it and did it. So if he would talk. No, I don't like that. It's a little bear. I know that's what it's called, Little Bear. Oh, it's called Little Bear. Oh, okay. Yeah, no. I'm not going to keep pushing that. I'm not going to keep, because that's a form of imitation. I don't mind educating people, but I'm not going to keep pushing this. No, once, no, I'm done with that. I have no idea what it said. So, no, because that would be irresponsible. See, you don't. That's when you start provoking. When something like that, I'm not prepared. I don't want this happening in my home. I'm not interested in having this happen in my home. I don't mind teaching about it, but when it starts doing that, that's when I stop. No, I'm not gonna burn it because I want to teach people about it. It said I'm a good bear. Okay, I don't even know what it said. Okay, well, no, it's gonna stay right there. Somebody said I would kick that 60 yards. Yeah, I understand. Believe me, I mean, I don't like it. It did that before. When I was on TikTok before, I was showing it, and I showed the back. It had no batteries in it, none. And then I turned it around, and then I was talking about it, and it said something. I don't know what it said. So I don't know. Okay. So anyway, okay. Well, that's all for show and tell. And we're not doing the bear anymore. So nope. All right. He says, I'm your little bear. Yeah. Okay. Have you put all 3 batteries in it? Just as it doesn't work. Yeah, I've tried I even put all batteries in there. It won't work. It doesn't even come on. It doesn't talk. It doesn't do anything. You're supposed to push the hand and push the stomach. And I put 3 batteries in there. And then I went and actually bought a whole pack of brand new batteries, and I put them all in there, and it doesn't talk. So, yeah. Okay. Well, hello there from Michigan. Okay. What are the questions that you have? And we'll kind of go from there. Okay. That's a great question. I saw there that a lot of you are asking great questions. Does demonic entities, I'm going to make sure does demonic entities possess objects? No. Demonic entities do not possess objects. Demonic entities attach themselves to an object for the sole purpose of provoking you or enticing you to then take it home. Just like when people bought all these things, or they, from collectors, and they take them home, they become almost obsessed with it, and they can't keep their mind off of it. And so the demonic is using that enticement to then have you just become so obsessed with it, you take it home, and then the activity will begin. So there's a lot of talk about possessed items. Now, the demonic entities will attach itself to that item to influence you to purchase it, or you become obsessed with it, and that's the problem. But they do not possess. The demonic entities possess people. So yeah, I appreciate the question. Okay, for those of you who want to know how do objects become possessed, yeah, I just answered that one. So yeah, they don't become possessed. There's attachment. Blessed salt is used. That's called the sacramental of the church. You're welcome. The sacramentals of the church are like holy water, oil, blessed salt, incense. That's what we call in the church. We call those sacramentals, and we use these items because they're obviously blessed items to combat evil. That's why I always tell people, stop throwing holy water around like it's tap water. Because if you go to a location where there is a true demonic infestation and you start throwing holy water around, you're going to get a reaction. That's provocation. Now you're provoking. When you go to a location and you say, I dare you to do something, demon, I dare you to do something, you're not provoking, you're inviting. Do you see the difference? There's a big difference between the two. For those of you who want to know, oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can be anointed more than one gift. We all have gifts. Every one of us have gifts and abilities. Every one of us, gifts that are given to us by the Holy Spirit. Never think that you have no gifts. We all do. Whether it be patient, if you have the gift of patience or love or compassion, or empathy. We certainly need that, don't we? We need a lot more empathy in this world. Field's on fire. I don't understand. I don't understand that one. Purgatory, Stephen, is a form of cleansing. I don't see purgatory as an evil place. I believe in I think purgatory is a stage of cleansing and purging the stain of sin, so that we can unite with a perfect spirit God and to enter heaven. I don't see purgatory as a place that's necessarily bad. I think that it's just a purging of the stain of sin, and when we enter heaven. So that's rosaries. Oh, matter of fact, that's a great question. Who said that? Bestie Bear, I think Bestie Bear. Okay. First of all, a very good friend of mine sent this rosary to me, and this is my rosary now that I pray. I do pray the rosary. Isn't it beautiful? It's a Benedictine rosary. So there's the Benedictine medal on the front, and this is my rosary. This is what I pray. And if I ever go to a location, to a home, I always have this. I will say this, whether people like it to hear this or not, the moment I can use sacramentals of the church, and I do holy water and incense, and that does get a reaction. But I will tell you this, and this is from my personal experience. The moment I begin praying the rosary, the moment that I invoke Mary, who deserves our love and our veneration, we do not worship Mary. There's a false belief that Catholics worship Mary. We do not. Mary is not God, but Mary deserves our respect and veneration. The moment I ask Mary for help and for her intervention is the moment that the demonic entity has an extreme aversion, reaction. It is extreme. And that is just from my experience. Again, I'm not here to recruit or try to prove or anything. I'm telling you what I have experienced, and you can take that again, I have friends from all walks of life. I have friends that are Muslim, that are Jewish, that are atheists, that are agnostic, that are Wiccan, that are pagan. I have friends for all walks of life, and I love them all. So when we have a conversation, it's respectful. So I tell them my experience, and they tell me theirs. But so I can just tell you from my experience, the moment I began praying the rosary is the moment there's an extreme reaction. Extreme. By the way, I want to say this very quickly. I know a lot of you guys like movies. I like movies too. Oh, I did see Avatar 2. Yep, I saw Avatar 2. I saw it in 3D, And folks, I unfortunately I had to leave halfway through the movie because I got a really bad headache. I don't know if it was because of the 3D. Well, it has to be because obviously 3D. The 3D gave me a really bad headache. It just, some people can watch it and some people I can't. I love the first half of the movie. It was fantastic, beautiful. The cinema, I mean, just my goodness, it was beautiful. But I had to leave because it was triggering my migraine. Said nope, because I watched it in 3D. So I'll have to watch it in regular. But I will tell you, it was gorgeous. I am gonna have rosaries online. I'm gonna put those online later on today. Yeah, 3D. So for those of you who like movies, this is from Movie Web by Gabby Kurczewski, I think, and I want to share these movies with you real quick if you love. Yeah, well, you don't have to, but it's kind of blurry if you don't, Alicia. And so listen to this. If you like horror films, no matter what, then you need to listen to this list. So this is 11 out of 11. This film is called Midsommar. It's 2019. And it says here, unlike most horror films, which are often usually dark and dreary, Midsommar does something a little differently. Instead, the scene is set with bright colors, sunny fields, flowers. The film uses these cheery aspects to its advantage, serving as a stark contrast to the horrific events that unfold. By breaking free of the typical horror mold, Midsommar is undeniable modern classic and a great watch for anyone with a strong stomach. I have seen this, and it is kind of crazy. The next movie that I love this movie. It's called Get Out. If you haven't seen it, 2017. It's the first Jordan Peele entry on the list, but certainly not the last. In 2017 hit, we follow main character Chris as he learns about and eventually falls victim to the strange and sadistic family of his girlfriend Rose. The film tackles in social issues like racism, classism, which revamps the emotional impact. I got to tell you something. I agree with this author. The movie Get Out, if you haven't seen it, is really, really intense. The next movie that they suggest you watch if you like horror movies is A Quiet Place. 2018, A Quiet Place takes the subtle eeriness to complete silence and turns it up to 10 in this petrifying horror thriller. The world is plagued by alien species, which, by the way, they have a part 2 out, who will target anyone who makes even the slightest sound. So check that out if you want. The next movie is It. 2017. It's a remake of Stephen King's It. Takes the original story to a new level. The town of Derry, as well as the cast, get a full makeover. She's 7 out of 11. She says Annabelle Comes Home. In 2019, again, yes, I did know Lorraine. Annabelle, by the way, does not look like the Annabelle in the movie. Annabelle is a Raggedy Ann doll. And the reason is they couldn't make it a Raggedy Ann doll is because of trademark. So the real Annabelle does not look like the Annabelle in the movie. Nothing. But Annabelle is one of the, and by the way, Lorraine did not like that doll. She didn't want to be around it. And she didn't go around it. The next movie is called Us, which I've seen. Very intense. 2019. It says from Jordan Peele is a psychological horror thriller. A family is tormented by their doppelganger, their counterparts who call themselves the Tethered. That's a really good movie. If you have not seen the movie Us, check it out. This movie I did not like. She rates this 5 out of 11. It's a 2018 movie called Hereditary. I didn't like it. It's a twisted and terrifying, allegedly. Check it out. This other movie I did like, and it was really, really good. The Babadook, 2014 movie. Yes, Stephen. The Babadook, 2014. The next movie is also very good. It's called It Follows. And it's 2018. This movie I have not seen, but I do want to check it out. It's called Nope, 2022. I'm going to watch that. It's a Jordan Peele masterpiece. The film follows a family of horse ranchers as they protect their horses' legacy and family. The characters are ultimately brutalized by UFO-like entity that targets and kills anyone. I'm going to check that out because I have not seen that. And then, of course, now I have seen this movie, and this movie is very good. It's called Ma, M-A, Ma, 2019. That's a very interesting movie too. I would also encourage you, if you've not seen this movie, called Split. Boy, that is an intense movie. Very, very intense. Yeah, black-eyed children. I have actually experienced what I would identify as a black-eyed children. We were doing an investigation. So yeah, John Zaffis is the nephew. Yeah, I know John. He's a good guy. Okay, let's talk about mediumships very quickly. You need to understand, I've talked about this before, you need to understand that when scripture refers to mediumship and psychics, understand that language changes. And also the translation changes as well. When you're translating from Aramaic, or you translate it from Hebrew to English, translations differ. And furthermore, you need to understand why it was written that you should not see a soothsayer or a psychic or medium, because we immediately assume then that their language and their terminology that they used 3,000-4,000 years ago is the same words that we use today. Well, that's absurd to even think that, because it's not. And this is where I learned this in the Roman Catholic Seminary in graduate school. And very quickly, because I've talked about this so many times. There was an incorporation of paganism into the Hebrew culture where they were trying to create a monotheistic religion of Yahweh only. And the indoctrination of paganism was being introduced, and people were following into this paganism beliefs of multiple gods. The rule was, if your loved one passed away, you had to give shekels for each one of these gods. So you go to this intermediary, or what they would consider as a psychic medium, and you would offer shekels to each one of their gods. Well, now your loved one passed away, and now they tell you, well, no, we don't have 10 gods, now we have 20. And now you have to offer 10 shekels instead of 5. The abomination was the false idol, because that was all talking about false idols and multiple gods, paganism. So that was the abomination. That was the scam. These soothsayers were telling you, oh, if you don't do this, then the god of rain will raise your loved one up. That's necromancy, and punish them forever in Hades. So that's why it was written. And there's an explanation for that. By the way, if you love themed gifts or spooky and horror themed gifts, if you're a paranormal fan, which I think many of you are, well, there are some gifts that Aaron Sager says you could probably consider getting. So here's a couple ideas and suggestions. And so you can say, yep, that sounds good, or nope, it doesn't matter to me. Okay, there's the Harridan Vodka Paranormal Reserve. It's quite expensive, though. It's $199. So if you do it, just be aware that it costs some money. There is the Cryptid Mug for $21.95. The Bigfoot, Mothman, Dogman, Nessie, Chupacabra, they're all out there. And you can check that out, Google that. There's the 13th floor artwork. So you can Google 13th floor artwork. There's a lot of, some of these are very expensive. The Shutter's Creep Show, From Script to Scream, for $50. If you want to go online and Google that. There's other, Beetlejuice. By the way, Beetlejuice 2 is coming out. Beetlejuice 2 is coming out. So that should be out here relatively soon. And I'm looking forward. Thank you, Mr. Producer. I'm looking forward to that. Let me just check here real quick. I don't know when the release date is. Let's check. Okay, here it is. I'm trying to see when it's coming out. Oh, I don't want to YouTube. I want you to tell me. Yeah, if you guys know when it's coming out, then I'll let everybody know, because I'm not really for sure. I would imagine probably sometime in 2023. But it looks like it's going to be pretty cool. So, all right, folks, first of all, I'll be with you guys in just a second. I promise you. I'm going to stay a little bit with TikTok, but I have to close up shop on KGRADB because we have another show coming up. By the way, Andrea Perron. Andrea Perron grew up in the Conjuring house. So if you love the Conjuring house, then you need to go on. Look, if you have fans, if you are friends of who are family members who love the paranormal, then go buy her books. It's called House of Darkness, House of Light. You can get them on Amazon. Look, if you really love the whole Conjuring house, then read the books. Find out from the person who actually lived there. Andrea grew up there. So that's the best. People always ask me about the Conjuring house. Get the books. House of Darkness, House of Light. That's what it's called. Also, here's what I want you to do. There is a fantastic writer. I mean, he is a great author. His name is Jason McLeod. McLeod is spelled McLeod. Okay, McLeod. Now, folks, he has 2 books, and they're called Dark Siege. I am telling you, if you need to read this. They are amazing. They truly are amazing. You can get them. You can go to his website, and all you got to do is type in Dark Siege. That's SIEGE. Okay, so I'm going to put it on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Darksiege.com. There you go. So for those of you on TikTok, again, Dark Siege, and Siege is SIEGE. Man, they are. People ask me all the time, what book? That. You need to get those books. They are phenomenal. And I tell you, they are phenomenal. Well, can you recommend a good exorcist book? Get Dark Siege, because it is a true case. He actually worked with the Warrens, and he writes about this case that he worked, and it is intense. And the way he describes it puts you right in the scene. Get the books. You will not be disappointed. Darksiege.com. Okay. I'm not going anywhere. TikTok. Hold on. Remember, I always tell everyone, and I want you to remember, kgradb.com. Make sure you don't forget that. I tell you all the time, and I want you to know this. Your value does not decrease based on someone's inability or refusal to see your worth. Remember, you're priceless. And never let anybody tell you or convince you otherwise. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, KGRADB. Good night. The Sacred Division has been brought to you by Bishop Long's online paranormal course. Learn demonology, angelology, paranormal studies, and genealogy. It's 100% online, and you learn at your own pace. Please go to www.bishopjameslong.com and click on the paranormal course link.